My name is Scout. I am a sewist, craft enthusiast, and maker of things. And today I am going to show you how I made this Narnia themed book nook or shelf insert for a Christmas present for my friend. Okay, so for the snow, I got this white powder dollhouse snow, and I cut a few leaves off a winter-themed garland at Michael's. And then for the street lamp, it didn't originally light up, so I ripped off the lamp part and fed some LED lights into it. I also got this dollhouse wardrobe, and I'm going to slice the back off with a box cutter and sand it down. I also have some door hinges just in case I need to take the doors off. And I have this sort of box from Michael's that's magnetic. I got the idea from the Rachel Makesy version. And then I have a few printouts of the cover of the book and some of the backgrounds for inspiration. I started by slicing parts of the box out so it would have an opening and still retain the look of a book. And then I started painting the actual box. I coated it first with a primer, and then I started painting on the cover, and I painted and painted and kept painting, starting with just the foundation and then moving on to detail work. I added some dark green accents on the spine and around the edges of the book cover to give it an older, more authentic look. And then I added in some gold accents with some gold acrylic paint, trying to continue to blend the paper cover into the rest of the box. This morning I took the fully painted box book outside, and as you can see I tried to finish it with just a clear gloss spray paint just to sort of lock in the color and finalize the lock-in of the paper that I put down for the cover. I think it's blended pretty well, honestly. Like, it is clearly a piece of paper, but I do think in more natural lighting and not my phone lighting, it looks a little bit nicer. And then, as you can see, I'm particularly proud of the spine of the book. I put C.S. Lewis. I am not great at painting, so the handwriting is a little messy. And then the back I kept pretty plain. So I'm gonna start doing the inside now. And for the inside, I am thinking, I printed out like parts of sort of the Narnia backdrop, like the castle and everything like that, and tried to cut them down a little bit. But I spray painted them with the clear gloss too, just to give them a little bit more stiffness. And then I think I will just sort of put them in like that. Put this one in here and kind of Mod Podge it, and then try to just transition into more basic blues and icy terrain for the rest of it. I mean, it's going to be closed, so I think the main goal is that if you look inside, you can see the castle. So that's kind of be my focus. My painting focus was to draw out the colors from the printed pieces of paper and extend them onto the rest of the box. I don't have the skill to realistically paint icy terrain, so my best hope was to make it cohesive between the paper and the painted part. I also overlapped a lot of paint onto the pieces of paper as well to help sort of blend in where my painting began and where the paper ended. I had to do several coats of this, and I fiddled with it throughout the whole project because I wasn't quite totally satisfied until the very end. I tried to add in some landscape details and some trees as well, so when glancing at the box from it closed, it sort of blended together and the castle was visible. Once the painting was done, I used foam clay to make the snowy terrain on the bottom, and I extended it a little bit for a platform to put the wardrobe on. I've never used foam clay before, and it was a little slimier than I expected, but I tried to make placements where I was hoping to put the trees and the lantern, and then I smoothed it down with the plastic handle part of a paintbrush. And then of course I was really finicky about the painting, so I went back in and tried to smooth the lines between the printed paper and the rest. Foam clay takes about 24 to 48 hours to cure, so during that time I worked on the wardrobe door, cutting it down and sanding it. And then when the foam was done, I started playing around with the placement of the trees and the lantern to try and make a sort of winter wonderland. Before I glued down the trees, I first covered the foam clay with a layer of Elmer's glue and then sprinkled that powder snow on top of it to give it kind of a more textured feel. I also added some of that powdered snow to the street lamp and then hot glued the LED lights onto the ceiling of the book, down the side, and onto the ground below, which I then tried to conceal with the placement of my trees, which were also hot glued on. Then I attached the wardrobe door and I was done. The Narnia Book Nook came out much better than I expected. I'm not much of a painter, so it was a surprise to me that such a painting heavy project looked really nice. And I do think that the light up LED lights really tie the whole thing together. And now my friend and I are finally exchanging Christmas gifts many weeks late. So I finally have to wrap this, which means that I need to figure out how to put this in a box without it being broken on transport. Wish me luck.